hot cooking at the same time. Okay, sports complex. We just received on Friday the order to proceed for the second phase of the grant.
Wait a minute, can you say that to the Wilson County News camera right there?
We just received the order to proceed for the grant. So just so you have some new board members, I just want to go over it again. You will have $1.43 million in the bank for the sports complex. The city contributed $1 million, so we had 2.43 and $500. So we were able to start the project and go back and forth. It wasn't reimbursement. However, this time with the grant, it's the state has to approve as we go along. And so we finally received the order to proceed, meaning it's all done. We can go ahead with the plans that we did and going forward. And so I'm really, really excited about that. So you should see some instruction pretty soon. I've been meeting still on sports complex with the baseball people. I probably know more about baseball and bases than I care to. The contractor, the council has hired a contractor to do the professional contracting. It's a 1 year for $49,400. So 1 year. We went out to bid, did all those other things. It's a 1 year contract. He has started, and opening day is March 23rd. I'll be meeting tomorrow with the baseball people. The council will be talking about it on the agenda for the 14th to get an agreement so that they can sign and to actually solidify the funding. That's always been something that we talked about, was how much Little League is going to pay to use that. We've looked at Jedington, Pleasanton, and some other places, and hopefully we can come to an agreement they can sign, and we can, they're not going to let me throw out opening ball, but that's okay. And that we can be able to do that. So that's on the sports complex. Mr. Chairman, do you have any questions regarding that?
When will they actually start? The same started?
The action for the phase 2?
Yes.
Next week. Mr. Sean from Heartland will be here, and thank you for reminding me, on Thanksgiving, on the 14th, on Valentine's Day, we're having a workshop that we have posted with the council and the baseball people. So if anybody wants to come for the 4A or the 4B to discuss baseball, and you all are definitely, it's 5 o'clock.
What day was it again?
A Thursday, Valentine's Day, the 14th, right before city council meeting at 6 o'clock. You're born on Valentine's Day? Happy birthday. That means
We
you're
don't need to
romantic.
post an agenda?
Yes. It's a posted workshop.
Well, we're not gonna.
Only if you're going to have a
FEDC
quorum.
plus
I need to
council?
post a possible quorum notice.
Can do that?
You gonna have a quorum?
My wife will kill me if I'm not there.
On
Valentine's Day, yeah.
Okay, so
We'll have a meeting.
I
all right.
posted a workshop.
Mean there or there?
Over there.
So we're gonna.
Y'all see company on Valentine's?
Yeah. And I got a full agenda.
So we need to post it anyway? Go ahead and post it.
Notice of a possible, oh my goodness.
You should be out spending dinner and spending sales tax, but that's the all. As an FEDC representative, I think we need to make sure, make a recommendation.
Here at City Council, here, right
My
before
state
5
dinner
o'clock.
is 8.25%.
So that we can get it going, because ultimately, I think the goal and objective of the council, and I think what the EDC bought into, was that it wouldn't just be for Little Leaguers, it would also be for us to rent this and to go back and forth. And so I need to confirm them so that we can go ahead and rent, so that's happening. The downtown parking lots. So, in our spare time, Johnny and I went to go see the engineer, Intrepid, to walk through the plans and to do this type of things. I have quotes for the equipment and those type of things for the $227,000. We've met with the engineer again. He checked our numbers. They are both on the buy board, because this is more than allowed it for the city of Floresville for $50,000. So we opted to go to companies that are buy board, which means I don't necessarily have to go through bidding for the materials, because the materials are more than $50,000. So we're going through companies that are buy board. I'm going to put all that information together. I'll get it to Johnny, and hopefully by the end of this week, he should be able to process and move forward with funding that material only. The weather is really not cooperating with us. It's usually not this cold in February, but we should be starting definitely by the end of February, beginning of March.
What's the hard number on that downtown parking lot? Was it?
$227,000.
Okay, that was 227.
The numbers that the engineer came up with was $226,000, but you all voted to come to not to exceed of $227,000.
So, example, say you said that.
At least suppliers, vendors that have material approved by the state?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you have to be a member of that by board to participate with the city of
That's
Floresville
sponsored by
is.
the state.
Yes, and so the state has agreed on these prices for this material, therefore we don't have to go and do a bidding
Yes,
process.
because you already know upfront what it is, and the state figure the cheapest way to go.
Yes, so these are state approved, so I don't have to go out to bid. And I thought that would be easier for us than going back and forth, and somebody may be $5 cheaper on this one. If they're approved by the state, then we should be good.
So if we meet, if that comes in at 200,000, you're gonna spend, you'll report back what other materials you're gonna spend, or we're just gonna spend 200,000, that's it?
Okay, this is what I did. I took the adjustments that took what they had before to the engineer. We did that with the engineer to get the, those were just, you know, quotes. And the auditor would tell you, I can't pay off of quotes, can I, Mr. Auditor? I have to pay off of a invoice. And so they gave me additional quotes. And so oil went up, it went down from when you all met it last time. So we have some quotes now. And these quotes are good for the next 30 days. They transfer them into invoices, and then we should be able to see that. But I need to get all that to him so he can pay for all the materials. Okay, some things are shorter lead time than others, like the signs will take a little bit longer time.
Do we pay as the invoices come in, or do we pay just one?
It's totally up to you, and how did you set it up?
That's the question I have, like, it's
in
like we
truck?
did that with the chamber, we gave a check of 30,000, and then say you give
Nope,
it.
I'm not doing that. What I want to do is get it all together, all the
Yeah.
materials. This is the material for this part.
Okay, and then
here's
we
the
just
material
pay your
for this
check.
part,
Okay.
blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And so
Within
he says, pay it for this amount with invoices.
I just wanna make sure.
I need no fuzzies.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
30,000 I compared to $227,000 to do that. And then my auditor will be a lot happier that it's not coming in and I have to justify coming on out, and commingling funds is not a good
Yeah,
thing.
no.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I was reviewing the plat, and it's gonna look real nice behind those, I mean, they'll clean it up, and maybe where they can expand the business in the back with patios and things like that.
Yes, now I've met with the city attorney and everybody had to sign. I'm missing a few people to sign, so I'm starting with some of the infrastructure first, the water. We have to fix some of the water lines underneath the parking lot. So what we're doing is having the attorney to contact them directly so I can finish getting it signed off.
Is this a good time to talk to them about electrical on top of the building?
No, it's not for me. It could be for Dan, but Mr.
Oh, that's right.
Jarrah. But I am talking to
Give them all
him,
his contact.
because it's on the agenda, I can speak to that. I am talking to them about the downtown sidewalk.
Well, that'd be good time.
I have provided to your executive director a copy of the award letter for the city of Floresville. We have been awarded the grant for the downtown revitalization. He wrote a letter. Did you give me back? Did you owe me a letter?
No, I have here, Monica was out today
Yeah,
for a little bit.
so they just need a letter. They have a copy of the resolution, right? I say that? The resolution, but they need a copy of a letter saying, yes, that you all did agree for
the
Judge
match.
Simon to do the $50,000 match. So they need that along with the resolution, and then we can proceed. So they're ready to go through.
So what's the total amount of the grant?
250, and you put your 50 on top, so I have 300, so a total of $305,000.
That's for the sidewalk?
Sir, for the sidewalk, $227,000 for material for UDC. That's what you all agreed to, not to exceed.
So we help them get to the.
But that's not tied into the ADA, right?
The ADA is actually 250, with 255 plus
Yeah,
50 gives me 305, right? Okay, so we got 250, so it's a total of 305, which includes your $50,000
That's
match.
strictly for the ADA.
Strictly for the ADA. And so with that one, they want a letter from Johnny saying,
Right.
yes, it is, because they're gonna need you to send that $50,000 to them so that then they pay for 305. And what the city's doing is an in-kind, so we're gonna provide dumpsters and manpower to help. As they pile it up, we'll put it into the dumpsters. That was our in-kind.
And then we discussed which sections perhaps would be more conducive to deviating traffic and things like that.
We really want to focus on, if you all can imagine, I'm sorry if I close my eyes, from D Street going down Third, that dry cleaners has got to have work. And poor Johnny, I think he was here maybe 3 days and out there in the cold, judging contests, and the dry clean people are jumping on him. So all down Third Street on that side, and on the other side where the courthouse is, it's really, really high. And then I would like to not do the court on C Street, because it's okay where the Peanut is, But you go on the other side where Pat Brown's is, Big Dan's is.
Yeah, that's a big jump. Because the rest of them, like, they're like only 4 inches where you go down C Street towards Second
Yeah.
and down Third.
So we want to start on that one and then go all the way
Anything that's
down
over, like,
both
6
sides
inches.
on C. So Olivia needs that, on the other side needs it, and as far as we can going towards B Street. As far as 300, I need to not do that side in front of the courthouse where the peanut is, because the sidewalk is not really high right there.
County can do it.
So, but they do need it on the 3rd Street side because it's really, really high right there.
Yeah.
And so, he's looking at some things, and so he's gonna come back, sharpen his pencil and see where we can go, and then we can move forward if we would do that. So I'm really, really excited about that. Events in the parking lot, okay.
Before you leave the
Oh.
other one, is there an event or something happening on the 15th?
Councilman Ortiz is really proud of this. This was one of the things that he championed, and he wants to have like a ceremony. It was gonna be the 15th, but we can't get a display in time enough, so we're gonna do it on the 1st of March.
And that's gonna be what?
He wants to have it literally outside on the sidewalk by Arcadia Movie
I'd
Theater.
like
Okay.
a jackhammer breakup sound.
So it's on the 1st of March?
1st of March. It's just a ceremony,
Right.
ceremony kind of thing where we'll come out. It's a Friday, the 1st of March, it's a Friday.
And the time?
Come out lunchtime, noon.
Groundbreaking finish.
So
Do they
they
have to
can-
break up all of that cement and
Yeah.
redo it? I mean,
Okay.
they're not gonna add steps?
No, ma'am, it's coming
They'll
out.
come out.
Which is
Wow.
why when people are saying, why don't you repaint the structure? I'm not gonna, I can't see, it's gonna be messed up again because it's gonna take a whole lot to do that
And then they're gonna repave C Street after it's all done.
after it's all done. And I'm going to take it up.
So the sidewalk gonna, once it gets removed, then it's gonna be reinstall steps, or the road will be a little
Be
bit higher,
lower,
so.
Be lower.
It's
Yeah.
gonna have to be designed to be handicap accessible, so there'll be some areas that the engineer will have to address.
They'll take out some like parking spaces and do the.
Oh, I see.
So it
To
can be
do- to do
handicap
that.
accessible, so sometimes, you know, they do it like in the
So
center and they
right,
go
you
on
gotta
the
come out
sides,
right to the
sometimes
side.
they do it on
They
the
gotta come
corners,
parking.
so
Gotcha.
that's what he's
Yeah.
designing right now.
Okay.
So the level of the street will not rise to adjust for the height of the sidewalk.
Now, my street, they have to.
So if it's lower, then that means the businesses have to have
They're gonna redo that
steps,
one.
or what do they have to do
Uh,
to accommodate the entrance into their business?
I think when he told it to us, he was saying that he wants to do the handicap accessible on the corners and then in the middle, so that when you
So
park
it's
in
the
the
station where we can get up and everything. at the top.
So they have the ramps
Yeah,
in
so
the
they'll stay
middle.
tall, but in the middle you
Right.
can get
Or
up.
on the
You know,
ends.
like you don't have to go all the
So
way
you
down
can
Pat
get
Brown
there.
again, you can go right at the top.
Henrietta, and what about places like this side here, in front of Big Dan's and stuff like that, where the sidewalk is installed? Are they gonna do anything about that?
The same thing, they're gonna do something in the middle and on the end. So they can build, if they put the handicap spots there, you may have to have a ramp like I do right outside here, that's kind of like,
All right.
Like-
they did
like
the
amusement
PlayStation,
park,
they
you have to
came
go
on the
around.
PlayStation, put like
Yeah.
some poles. and-
Yeah, we have to.
And what's the timetable on this for the whole thing?
I don't have the final design.
Oh yeah, what's the timetable on the sports park? Because phase 2 has a timeline versus phase 1, right?
But I just got the notice to proceed, so your liquidated damages won't count
Yeah.
if I didn't get the order to proceed delayed it.
Yeah, okay. No, let's just go to the event center parking lot.
The events in the parking lot, now, you know you all talked about $250,000 for events in the parking lot. Did you all approve, but the council did not approve?
Yes.
The council did not
They
approve.
tabled it.
They tabled it, it never came back up again.
And so that's a dead issue, or what?
No, sir, it's just that we need to revisit it, but before I asked them to look at it again, I didn't know if you all were still amenable. So we received, the city of Floresville received a $110,000 grant from SARA, San Antonio River Authority, to make improvements to the park, to the parking lot at Event Center.
Okay, and
I need
sometime
more
back-
than that to finish it.
Sometime back, I would say a long time ago, we committed, the board did for 250,000. That was total, not just materials.
Yes, sir.
Now, if that was done in a different year's budget, does that still go on, or?
We have it, a side thing on our budget for it, and we have a line item for it.
So the engineer is currently, now since he knows what, he has to fix his design to meet the grant. And then from the grant, he has to give me how much it'll be to complete what he needs to do. He did not give me a number of what it would be, the total number to be.
How
But
soon does that grant, 110,000, have to be spent?
we have 2 years to spend it.
2 years. So I mean, I would like to see how fast we're gonna get the sidewalks and downtown, get some projects done first. I mean, these have been on the books for almost a year.
So he has to get the fund design. You know, when we apply for these grants, they do a little engineering. They come up with some numbers and they come up with some schematic drawings. But now they actually have to do, Intrepid has to do a detailed drawing and submit it to Sarah to say, yes, this is what we're gonna do for the final. So that's what he's in right now, and then once he does his final and they get approved, then I can tell you what that parking lot costs. So I wanted him to get the approval of what we wanna do to the parking lot, so that I can come back with a number. But I'm gonna hold fast that you all know, you're not being Indian givers and taking it back, so I may go ahead and put that on the agenda so I get that one approved.
I don't think that was ever our intent. Our concern has been the ignorance about us having that money and you guys doing nothing with it.
So we didn't approve it, so, but I do remember that.
I just
we-
say, I don't think,
if I bring it-
I don't think the number's gonna go up.
Well,
If
So if you want it to go up, it's not
No,
gonna
if
go up.
we go back, I may have to have 2 readings again, so that we can get it, but I'll come back when I have some better numbers.
Okay, was there anything else, Ms. Turner?
Other than, that's really on the agenda, that I've been working really hard with Johnny, so that he can get caught up to speed. As you know, he came into a whole lot, with a lot of projects going forward, and so we're hoping that we can continue working and doing some projects together. And he has told me that his honeymoon period is officially over, so I'm gonna take him at that.
Okay.
First day.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have a visitor from out of town, so I'm gonna ask that we move to item 4B. Consideration and action to review and analyze FEDC budget, finance, checking, pool accounts, general ledger, and we have with us Jeremy Barbato.
Yep.
Barbato,
You got it.
part of our auditing team. Go ahead, sir. Your floor.
Sure. Thanks for having me. Like I said, my name is Jeremy Barbato. I'm an audit manager with AVIP. Michael Del Toro is the engagement partner. He had a prior commitment, so he couldn't be here today. A little bit of background, I have been the primary auditor for the city of Floresville dating back to 2012 to about 2016. I wasn't on the engagement last year at all in 2017, and we're actually scheduled to be here, I believe, first week of March.
Yes, March 4th.
March 4th.
You coming back?
I will not be.
We miss you, Jeremy.
But I'm kind of familiar with, I guess, the interaction between the city and the EDC. We worked closely with Tommy throughout Tommy Baker, throughout the process, the audit process. And I'm really here just to field any questions or concerns you may have regarding our audit process and the pooled, I think on the agenda was the pooled bank accounts, or any questions you may have regarding that.
So, John, did you want to give us some background on this?
Real quickly, what he is going to do is provide to you, what he's doing is providing to you on an item in which I had brought to the board's attention on an individual basis, because at first it was referred to one account, another account. That got cleared up very quickly with finance and Ms. Turner. And what basically we just needed to do is explain, because Mr. Reed and I had a meeting, a conference with I think you were on the phone as well, weren't you, Jeremy, that day?
I was not on that
You were
phone
not
call, but it
privy to
was
that.
Michael Del Toro
Exactly,
and
Mr.
Janet
Del Toro.
Goodman, the concurrent.
And what we wanted to know, because it was explained to us that this money, at the time when I received it was $285,881.60, and it was money that needed to be paid. At first, we thought it was, owed to the city, and in a sense it is, because it's on the general ledger, and it's basically itemized in its own category, correct?
Correct.
And so that's what I wanted you to explain to them, because we eventually need to, my recommendation is we're gonna need to zero that account out and get it zeroed out once and for all, because that's.
We can't zero it out because it always pays his paycheck out of it.
Yeah, so you leave a little bit.
So there's always gonna be, it's always gonna be about, should never exceed 10,000. We should never have over $10,000 in that pooled account paying, travel, X, Y, and Z reimbursement.
Mhm.
So what I didn't understand in the question I had asked is, why was all this like, oh, we'll clear out next month for almost 3 years? And so And so when you look at this number, it looks like we have 2.299 million, but if you take out, you know, this 298,
Yeah.
300,000 on that, now we have like 298, we have like 1.9 in that account. So we can have actual numbers. So when we're making these decisions on these projects, we know exactly what we're spending, and that's why it's been hard to do this sheet right here, is because we make decisions on helping the city with projects and, or maybe funding, like the Lions Club, or funding the chamber on projects, but we just, you have these hard numbers.
Absolutely.
Not zeroed out, but it's close to zero.
And that's why I felt it was important that you get a clean slate with my administration as your ED, so that we have real numbers before us that we're working with, and the city clears out their ledger entry for that money that needs to be paid.
Because I was hearing the treasurer 14, 15, and then they had another treasurer those 2 years. So we would always, I don't know what happened those 2 years when we weren't part of the board at that time on 16, 17. Now that we're back, I don't know why they weren't zeroing out some of the accounts.
So Jeremy, give us that input that we need from you on this.
Sure, so I'll explain a little bit. So the 280,000, we got
290
the
something.
new balance for this year.
Yeah.
I don't remember one.
Yes, yeah, so 298,000, that's basically cash that the city has floated on behalf of the EDC to be paid back. It's essentially a city's receivable. They're waiting for the money to come back from your other accounts. Now, I know y'all get sales tax, 0.25%, I believe, of the total sales tax in the city. The city actually cuts a check to your other bank account. So I believe the agenda item for the treasury report that y'all are looking at is the account y'all can see, which is your money market, and you used to have a savings. I'm not sure if you still do.
It's the claim on cash and the checking and then the money market.
Right, so us as auditors, we report a netted number on your financial statements.
So they never questioned it because they always showed we had 1.9 million. So they're like, oh, we could cover it. So they never flagged it.
Why was it allowed to accumulate? I mean, I don't understand that. Why wasn't it paid out again?
That isn't, so we've tested transactions related to Fund 580, which is y'all's designated fund that the city manages. And we test transactions, money coming in, money going out of this pooled account, as well as your other accounts on a sample basis, to get reasonable assurance and provide an opinion on your financial statements. As far as repaying that back, that's really a management tool, or my management decision on when to bill, when the city should be billing you for cash that they floated on your behalf.
I mean, we were on the phone with the auditor, and he said it was just something that the previous director would make it the city, and they were like, oh, we'll take care of it next month, or we'll take care of it next month. Right? No, we can't take care of it next month.
Are we paying interest on it?
But
It's essentially an interest-free loan that the city is giving you.
Yeah.
To the city.
But that said, the city should be able to have invoices and documentation
Right.
of what that number
No, they
is
haven't
made
been
of.
paid yet. That's what we need to do is pay them.
We need to
Do we
pay
have the
it.
funding to pay?
Yeah, we
Yes,
have
and that's our whole
2.2.
point.
For the four, okay.
That's
So
our whole point, is
this
that.
number minus the 298 right here on
Mhm.
the thing.
And the whole point is that I want to make sure you know realistically
That's the AEI.
what you really have in your bank account. And also to clear this entry out and then set up a process that I can work with Ms. Turner so that we can flag finance to move those funds regularly within a quarter or within, so it never accumulates to this amount.
Yeah, so it should be transferred monthly. So something is transferred monthly because when that pooled account that comes in, only we're paying on the pooled account is the ED's salary and whoever else we take on with the other position. So we know that should maybe that number 10 should be a little bit more for the other positions. But if it ever, we should always keep at that number. And I think maybe on the city side, they should have a, but it goes both ways. They should, hey, you need to pay this sooner and put some restrictions on us as a board.
Because it's payroll related.
Yeah.
It looks like payroll to us when we're administering. It's payroll. It's part of the payroll.
Yeah.
So we pay the payroll. We pay it.
But
And then they
they're-
go back and say, okay, this account's supposed to pay the payroll, but it's in the deficit. So we just keep saying, okay, but we paid it, but it's there.
It
So
never
So was
comes.
it ED's salary?
it's his salary. That's the
Yeah.
only reason why we do that is the salary.
So almost 3 years.
So it's like a special pool account, and other, please, I don't speak CPA, but it's a special account that we have that we pay and charge you for, just for salary and benefits and those type of things. and his retirement, and Mr. Beck's retirement.
So that makes the city, does it make them look bad because that money's not transferred over?
It's all
or-
payroll. I mean, I have payroll for 65 people, so this
Yeah.
is one little small
So do we
portion.
pay
Will
all
the
in
city
one lump sum,
invoice,
or how do we pay?
ED?
Are they?
It's
We never-
totally,
we
it's
never
totally up to you,
invoice-
but I'm under the principle all the time to clear your debts off the bat.
So how would you
you're debt-free.
recommend that? You're the
So
council.
that it could be the-
Best practice would be for the city to bill monthly. I would say monthly would probably be
Absolutely.
reasonable.
That's what I was
Um,
So to
referring
pay
to.
this one, they can
And
just
they,
say,
and you should be getting an itemized amount to be paid, and then what
so
the
can
full
you
account.
go back and send us a bill but have an itemized, like some kind of invoice
Yes,
to
it's-
show the 298?
We'll go to show what it is. but
That we
you have
can
to
attach it to
remember
the check?
It's going to be a
Or-
combination of your new EDC director,
Yeah.
your old EDC director, also any vacation days and sick days. It'll show like that we can show, because this one's going to be a payroll report for
Yeah.
that.
And these are little things.
Is
that I'm
something we can
just
add to the
picking
report
up
that
on.
covers our cell phone?
And then we
Right,
can
and I just
do-
want to avoid this happening to you again, because you're not really looking at your real money.
Yeah.
And this way you have a true understanding of what your funds are.
It caught me off guard when we were talking. I was like, how did this, because, of course, this is
Right.
just this for last year. And I was
Then
like,
you
2018, we had it right, and that's
And-
what the question was
Ms.
asked.
Turner,
So-
I think we discussed this, but I don't think it'll be a problem to get the receipts to back up those entries
It's not a receipt. It's
or
gonna
the
be-
entries of
It's
payment.
going to be payroll.
Yeah, the payroll.
The payroll that we run, the payroll register that we ran.
But you have the dates, so as long as you can show the years for it.
Yeah, so we'll show you the payroll register that we
Yeah,
ran for that
that's it.
before.
Just so
But
they
it's not
can
like an
see it.
invoice like I paid a vendor.
And this wasn't around prior to 2013. I think you were mentioning you signed an interlocal agreement. The EDC used to manage their own books on like QuickBooks, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
And the city created this fund for y'all as a convenience, mainly to float the cash, to make it more efficient. So the city didn't have to wait for a check to come over. They could float some of the cash, but then there was a management shortfall on billing it to get the money back to fund that deficit. So, and then it just accumulated over time. But it really was a convenience for y'all. The
Yeah,
city
because
was
we asked, like,
floating
how
this
did
cash
we
over.
not ever get flagged in our audit every year? Like, the
Mhm.
previous boards, like, how did they get flagged? And they just said, oh, we just
It's
saw
all-
one account, we saw the money was there, so we never.
It's also beneficial in my previous experience working in other cities. Cities show a bigger ledger balance as well on their accounts because they put it in their general ledger. So it actually inflates the actual number you have in your general ledger. And sometimes that helps with grants and a bunch of other stuff.
So what we're gonna do is, I'm making notes, I'm gonna run the payroll ledger to go back, I don't have that in front of me, but we'll go back as far as we can, so that we can show that. And then we'll share the number with Johnny and the auditor,
That's
because your
perfect.
auditor is my
See that?
auditor, and then we can
You
go.
got that?
Now, are you in agreement, you want to cut a check for it now, or you want to do half?
Why?
You want to do quarter, what do you want to
That'd
do?
be part of the sidewalks, take off the money.
You gotta cut a check for that.
The sooner we get them back their money, the better.
Ask the question, this may not be in your area of responsibility to answer, but which was a better way to do it, the old way or the way we're doing it now?
The QuickBooks.
The QuickBooks way or the other way?
QuickBooks or-
In other words, separate or together?
Good look.
That's a loaded question. Yeah, I would.
Not really, I really want to.
If you had someone that could do the QuickBooks, then yes, but right now you're getting, and there may be I can't remember the interlocal agreement, I remember reading it back in 13.
I have it right here.
But there may be a little administrative fee that the city is tacking on a monthly basis. for doing this.
$350.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
at the time, we had an outside activity that did the QuickBooks for us.
right,
So
yeah.
there was a charge, obviously, but even including or considering that, what's your opinion? Which is a better way, more efficient?
Well, you would have to do all the payroll charges and all the costs that the city is kind of absorbing through this interlocal agreement that has expired since. But they're absorbing a lot of costs related to just 350, like running payroll on a biweekly basis. I think are biweekly.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of costs that goes into that and drives that rate higher than.
You said
And
more-
reporting,
more than
941 reporting.
More than 350.
Oh, yeah.
If we did it in our third more than.
I think so too.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of IRS,
Yeah, 941 reporting.
Anyway,
that we have to
you
go
really
through.
can't answer the question.
Paying your payroll taxes and those kind of things.
It's a management decision. Yeah, I can't recommend, I can,
But your
That's
firm-
what I was looking for,
But your firm would charge more than
Now,
$350 though, right?
one thing that entities do is they do separate their accounts, but in this case right now, we seem to be functioning very well to a certain extent. And the stuff, if anything that we've encountered, Ms. Turner and I have been able to work through it and together on it. So I think in the future, if we continue to have any issues or anything, we'll discuss it and see what's the best course of action at that time. Would you agree, Ms. Turner?